It's connected to the parking lot.
Really, the only way to test that properly is to sing into it.
I don't think it's working.
Yeah. Nice try.
Then it'll pick it up.
Anybody do anything on
Says it's fine.
I've not heard anything. Didn't hear anything at the fair office today. He just lives around the corner from me. I can go see him.
from Jerry?
Yeah, he's traveling out east.
Oh, okay, good.
He said the plans changed, he would be here, but
Okay.
he didn't expect to be.
All right. Very good. Folks, we'll get started here in a few minutes, but if you're going to speak tonight, has everybody had a chance to sign in over here on the side? Okay, all right.
Jason,
Did you enjoy the tractor show?
I was busy selling toys.
Well, I saw you over there.
Did you?
You weren't like, we went in there and you weren't in there.
How
And
have you
then
been?
kind of turned around and I
Good.
looked and you were over there and I was going to come say something. And
I had a guy helping me in case I need to go to the bathroom or,
might have
look
been
over
Rich. My son might have bought something.
huh?
He came home with something. I don't know.
How long's your wife gonna be in that bandage? That is awful, consuming that whole arm.
July 3rd, she gets it off.
You guys all set? All right. We're going to go ahead and call the Morgan County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for June 26th, 2023 to order. We do have a quorum this evening with 4 members present. We are missing Mr. McGrath this evening. Mr. Rumball, would you mind leading us all in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Be pleased to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rumball. Minutes were sent out from our last meeting. Did everybody have a chance to look at those from May 22nd? If so, were there any changes or corrections that needed to be made?
Seeing no changes needed, I move we approve as sent.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the minutes as sent. Do I have a second? Mr. Crone seconds. Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. We all received a copy of the agenda in advance of the meeting this evening. Are there any changes to the agenda this evening? If not, I'll open for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. For those of you that are going to be speaking this evening, we ask the board's attorney, Mr. Peden, to swear each of you in. And Mr. Peden, if you would please do so. Thank you, Mr. Peden. All right, folks, what's going to happen here this evening, if you've not been here before, is I'm going to call you up in order on the agenda. We're going to ask that you come up to the podium, speak into the microphone. Start out by telling us your name and address, and then we'd like it if you would tell the board why you're requesting a variance and why we should approve that. We'll go from there. So we'll get started on our first item on the agenda under new business, which is public hearing D-23-16. Andrew Jones is requesting a development standard variance to reduce the front yard setback for an accessory barn on property located at 3442 West Runaround Road in Gregg Township. The property is zoned for agriculture. For this application this evening, I have Andrew Jones signed up in support of, and as the petitioner, I have no one else signed up as an interested party or in opposition to this application. So, Mr. Jones?
Hello, I'm Andrew Jones. I live at 3442 West Runaround Road in Monrovia. And basically, I'm wanting to build a pole barn in front of my property. And without getting this variance, I would have to tear out a bunch of trees and bring in a bunch of dirt. There was an existing pond there, so the terrain is pretty sloped down, and it would be very beneficial.
Anything else you'd like to tell us?
No?
Okay. All right, gentlemen, any questions?
You say there's slope on this ground. How much is there? Just a couple feet, 3, 4 feet?
Probably from where the back, if I did the 35 foot, it'd probably be a good 15 foot of buildup that I'd have to do in one of the back corners of the barn.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, I have a couple questions, if you don't mind. 40 by 60, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you building it yourself?
No. I have a company either do it, Andrew Finney or Graber Construction.
Okay. What are you going to use the building for?
It's parking RV, boat, probably doing some maintenance out there on, working on things.
Okay.
I have
Um,
an existing 30 by 30 barn now that it's kind of growing out of.
If you don't mind, step up here for a minute. I'm going to show you a map that's in each one of our packets, or an aerial photograph here. And I'm pointing to a section where he's got the dimensions for the pole barn, and it says driveway there, and then there's a blue property line to the bottom of the page, just below that. Whose property is that?
Ernest Whitaker.
Okay. Have you talked to Ernie about this? Ernie?
He wants me to put it on his property. Yeah. Surprised he's not here right now to support me.
All right, and you'll have 5 feet of distance between your pole barn and Mr. Whitaker's property? Okay, and that's enough to get,
Lawnmower and vehicle through there if I needed to.
okay, all right. And there's no trees on, you can step back if you don't mind. Thank you. That way the microphone picks you up. Are there any trees or anything on Mr. Whitaker's property? If they fell, are going to fall on your
Nothing at all.
building?
Just a
Nothing?
straight open field.
Okay, all right, that's all I had. Gentlemen, any other?
I have nothing.
No? Gordon? No? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, again, as I said, we have no one signed up in opposition, so we'll close our public hearing, go into public hearing. Am I saying that right?
You're doing it right.
At this point. The applicant's applying for a use variance. In order for the board to grant this, we have to agree that the applicant meets the required findings of facts. On the form submitted by the applicant, the first statement is describe the property or the proposed use of the property. And the applicant has written the use and proposed building would be for the personal use of a single family. Assorted vehicles, truck, boat, RV, et cetera, equipment and tools would be stored and maintained within the building. Under section 2.1, it makes a statement that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and goes on to say that the proposed building would not be used in any way that would be harmful to the community. The building would be used for storage and maintenance, as is often seen in similar buildings in the area. Under section 2.2, makes a statement that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant, again, states that's a true statement, and writes, "This building should increase the property's value. It will be professionally built and will be regularly maintained. As it stands now, the maintenance of our property has been improved by leaps and bounds since we purchased it in 2016, and we would care for this building with the same level of dedication." Under 2.3, it makes a statement, "The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property." Again, the applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, "We are requesting a variance to allow us to build a barn 5 feet off our property line due to the terrain of the lot. Very little of our lot is flat, and coming further in off the property line would require a great deal of dirt work. A few years ago, we removed a pond from our property, which left us with some steep slopes. There are also mature trees on the lot that would have to be removed if we are unable to build closer to the property line. The process of the project will be more practical if we are granted this variance." For the technical reports, Health Department states they have no objections to the proposed development standard variance. The surveyor reviewed and made no comment. And staff's report, in a nutshell, supports the petitioner's request to reduce the front yard setback to 5 feet from the front property line. Gentlemen, discussion on this application?
Seems common sense to allow him to do this, particularly with nobody have anything bad to say about it.
Thank you, Mr. Rumball. Any other discussion? No? I would agree with Mr. Rumball's thoughts on that. Again, any other discussion?
Nope.
Nope, open for a motion.
Move to approve Andrew Jones petition D-23-16. Based on 2.1, the reasons stated in the staff report as true. 2.2, that is true that the use value of the area adjacent property indicating a variance will not be affected in substantially adverse manner because B, the reasons stated in the staff report. And on 2.3, it is true that the strict application of the terms of this UDO will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought because of the reasons stated in petitioner's finding of fact.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Crone seconds. Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye.
Aye.
That's approved. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, next application we have is public hearing D-23-17. Michael, is it Satter? Satter, thank you. Is requesting a development standard variance to reduce the front yard setback for an accessory barn on property located at 5793 South Haggard Road in Jackson Township. The property is zoned for ag. And also, Mr. Satter is requesting another variance, public hearing D-23-18. Can we hear both these together? Gentlemen?
Not a
Thank you.
problem.
It goes on to say that Michael Satter is requesting a development standard variance to reduce the side yard setback for an accessory barn on property located at 5793 South Haggard Road in Jackson Township. The property is also zoned for ag. And for this application, I have Mr. Satter signed up to speak and on both, and no opposition or anyone else signed up on either one. Looks like we've got Mr. Satter in front of us at the podium. So, Mr. Satter, if you could tell us your name and address, and again, why you're requesting the variance and why the board should grant it, please.
Yeah, my name is Michael Satter. I live at 5793 South Haggard Road in Morgantown. I'm requesting to reduce the front yard and the side yard setback to build a 56 by 50 pole barn. The reason for it is it's the only spot on our property that we can build it due to sloping hills on one side and the current location of our driveway.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to tell us? No? Questions for the applicant, gentlemen?
He didn't lie, he told the truth. Any of your Brown County neighbors object?
So far, no. We're right on the line, so.
Go ahead, Bill,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's just not conducive to doing a lot with that property.
So your new garage is going to be close to the road on both sides, correct?
The front side. The other side faces a shared driveway.
The closest house to where you're going to be building this?
It'd be across the road on Haggard Road, so it's probably 100 feet, maybe.
Okay. Any trees or anything that could fall over off the shared, on the other side of the shared driveway that,
No, most of those have been taken care of and cleaned up.
okay. All right. And that give you enough access down either side to maintain the property so
Oh,
it's not
yes.
grown
Yes,
up
sir.
and out of control? Gentlemen, any other questions for the applicant?
I don't have anything.
None whatsoever.
Thank you very much. All right, we have no one else signed up to speak on this application, so we'll close our
Do you
public
want to do
hearing
the second one so we
portion.
can listen and vote separately?
Yeah, that's a good point. And the second one has the same answers to the same questions on the findings of facts. So we'll combine both these. I don't, is there anything else you'd like to add for the second
No.
request?
No, it's all the same.
Okay,
Same reasoning.
all right.
Sounds good.
Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant on the second one? Okay,
have anything.
all right. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
All right, so we'll need two separate motions for these, but reading through the findings of facts on these, under the use variance, section 1, the applicant has written he's constructing a 56 by 50 garage structure and can meet setbacks on the north and east side of the property, or can't meet the setbacks on the north and east side of the property, so he requires a variance. Under the section 2, the standards for evaluation under 2.1, again, the application makes a statement that the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that that's a true statement. Again, and that goes forth on both applications this evening, and has written on both garage structures are common in residential areas and will not have any impact on the community. Under 2.2, the statement is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The applicant indicates that's a true statement, again, on both applications, and has written no immediate neighbors to where buildings will be constructed on both applications. Under 2.3, it makes a statement, the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Again, that's true on both. The applicant indicates that that's a true statement on both applications and has written, the area planned for the garage structure is the only flat area on my property and is the best area for driveway access, and again, has written that on both applications. The health department states they have no objections to the proposed development standard variance on both requests. The surveyor has reviewed and makes no comment on either one. And staff's recommendation on both is that they would support the petitioner's request for the 5-yard side 5 feet side yard setback and for the 13 feet front yard setback. So, discussion on this application, gentlemen?
It's just
Makes
not
sense.
the kind of property that's conducive to flat ground building.
would agree. Any other discussion? No? Open for a motion.
I move that we approve petition D-23-17 with all the findings of fact being found true.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second on D-23-17. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. So that is approved. On public hearing D-23-18, open for a motion.
Here's your chance, Gordon.
Make that motion.
Go ahead.
Okay. I move that we approve petition D-23-18 for approval with all findings of fact being found true.
Thank you. Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Mr. Rumball seconds that motion. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is approved as well. Thank you, Mr. Satter. Our next item on the agenda this evening is public hearing D-23-19. James Allen is requesting a development standard variance to construct a septic system that crosses the adjoining lot line. The property is located on lots 837 and 838 on East Elk Court in Painted Hills. The property is zoned R2. And for this application, I have Mr. Allen signed up to speak in support of, and as the petitioner, and no one else signed up. Mr. Allen, if you could start off by giving us your name and address and tell the board why you need the variance and why we should approve it, please.
Okay, I'm James Allen. My address is 2690 State Road 46 West, Nashville, Indiana. Current address, anyway. We are planning to build in Painted Hills. We have purchased 4 lots there. The septic system was a critical one that had to fit on the lot, so it went on one of the lots and kind of took up most of that lot. So for building purposes anyway, because of the slopes. So we want to put our residence on the lot right next door and then use the septic on that lot. To get both to fit and not be on too steep a ground, which is, there's pretty small lots too, so.
Did you have to get approval from Painted Hills?
Yes.
And you have it then?
I haven't heard from them. I've submitted everything, and the guy, we went to the last 2 meetings, and the guy's been not there. So,
It's called common sense.
he, I don't know, he was sick the first meeting, the second meeting, he was on vacation. He didn't have anybody there in his place, but I have submitted everything that they've requested, so.
Gentlemen, any other questions for the applicant?
No.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have no one else signed up to speak on this. This is a request for a development standard variance. And again, under section 1, proposed use variance, the applicant writes, using one lot for residence and adjoining lot for septic field. Under 2.1, makes a statement, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, the project will still meet all standards of public health, safety, and welfare. Lots are side by side, and project would not have any more impact than if it was all located on one lot. Under 2.2, the statement is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, and the applicant indicates that's true and writes, there is not greater impact by installing on 2 lots as opposed to 1 lot. The best location for the septic was chosen over the best location for our home. No negative impact to values of adjacent properties will result from using 2 lots instead of 1. Under 2.3, makes a statement, the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Applicant indicates that's a true statement and writes, although we own 4 lots, none of the lots have room for a 3-bedroom home and a septic without pushing the home to be partially on the side of the hill, making construction more expensive and the home more difficult to maintain. HOA for Painted Hills requires 3-bedroom with 2-car garage. For the technical reports, the health department states they have no objections to the proposed development standard variance. The surveyor has reviewed and makes no comment. Staff's recommendation on this is that the petitioner has satisfied all 3 findings of fact, and therefore staff is not opposed to the variance request to install a septic system that crosses the lot lines. So we're open for discussion, gentlemen.
Pretty common with Painted Hills, the small lots, the topography. It just seems that this is very logical to grant it.
Any other discussion, gentlemen?
Pretty much covered it. Painted Hills seems to come up an awful lot in BZA and Planning Commission because the lot sizes are too small, so.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the guy owns 4 lots, he's building 1 house on it. What could be less detrimental to the property than to not build a house at all, I guess, but, yeah, I would have no problems with this whatsoever as well. Any other discussion? Open for a motion.
Move to approve D-23-19, based on the finding of facts, and that's it.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I got a second? All in favor, please raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
It is approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. Ms. Parker, do we have a BZA Plan Director's report this evening? Okay, all right. And Mr. Peden, do we have a BZA Attorney report this evening? No report. Gentlemen, don't see any other business in front of us on the agenda. Any business, gentlemen? Nope. We'll open for a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Mr. Crone seconds that. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Congratulations, you did it in less than half an hour.
And I have no regrets in anything.
Other
we
than
did.
your knock on me wearing shorts, I came straight from work. This is my work attire, so.
Next week, the glass front comes on, John.